Hello and welcome back to Navigating the Periphery. My name is Deborah and this is my son Philip.
Hello.
We hope all of you are having an excellent day today. If you're into what we're doing on this channel, please do all that YouTube stuff if you haven't already. If you could reach down and give this video a big thumbs up and a like, it would mean so much to us as content creators. Because the more likes we get, the more widely YouTube will distribute this on its platform. And we want to get our message out there and try to reach as many people as we can. Navigating the Periphery, where we're trying to stop the stigma of mental health, one video at a time. If you know anyone who could benefit from watching this channel, please help spread the word. Remember, it's okay not to feel or be okay all of the time. You're not alone. We're here.
We're here.
So, Philip, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm doing great today, Mom. How are you doing?
I am good. We have received many questions and messages on social media regarding how Philip navigated college. Did he receive any special services due to any of his diagnoses? And if we could explain the differences between what an Individualized Education Program or an IEP is, and how it differs from what accommodations are.
So today's episode will be navigating the periphery of educational systems and schools for students with disabilities and the difference in programs available. Let's start with the basic IEP, or an Individualized Education Program, is a legally binding document developed for each public school child in the United States who is eligible for special education.
Now, I'm sure some of you are thinking to yourselves, oh my God, I do not want my child in special education. But I do need to remind you that special education is a broad term. However, sadly, there is a lot of stigma as far as special education goes.
These programs are specifically designed for students with disabilities, ensuring they receive appropriate educational opportunities that align with their abilities and potential. It encompasses a broad spectrum of services and supports designed to provide personalized instruction and interventions, enabling these students to achieve academic success and personal growth alongside their non-disabled peers to the greatest extent possible. For example, I was in regular and honors classes, but my classes were just smaller with less students, and some of these classes had more than just one teacher.
The Individualized Education Program is intended to ensure that students with a recognized disability received personalized instruction and the necessary support to meet their unique needs. It's tailored to the individual student's abilities, learning challenges, and their educational goals. An IEP includes several critical components that address the student's educational experience. An IEP outlines the student's current academic achievement and functional performance, providing a baseline for developing educational goals. And there are also annual goals. These are measurable academic and functional goals that the student is expected to achieve within the school year. They are tailored to address the student's unique needs that result from their disability.
The IEP document specifies the special education and related services to be provided to the student, including the extent of time the student will spend in general education classes versus special education classes. And like I said, I was in general education and some honors classes just with a smaller class size. It also encompasses how the student will participate in activities and classes with non-disabled peers.
The IEP also lists any necessary accommodations or modifications to the curriculum, teaching methods, or testing formats to help the student learn and demonstrate knowledge. For instance, Philip was allowed to have his tests read aloud to him if he wanted it or needed it. This went for any test, New York State Regents exams, and even SATs. Also, that he could take his tests sequestered away from other students if taking the test in class caused his anxiety or OCD to become worse.
My disability in primary, middle, and high school was my obsessive-compulsive disorder and my generalized anxiety disorder. An IEP also entails transition services for students aged 16 and older. It includes transition planning to post-secondary life, which may involve education like going to college, living away at college, employment, and independent living. The IEP also explains how the students' progress towards meeting their annual goals will be measured and reported to parents.
An IEP is developed by a team that typically includes the student's parents or guardians, at least one of the student's general education teachers if applicable, at least one special education teacher or provider, a representative of the school system who is knowledgeable about the general curriculum and availability, and the availability of resources, and the student when appropriate, especially as they approach transition age, and others at the discretion of the parents or school, such as therapists, psychologists, physical therapists, occupational therapists, or advocates. This team meets at least once a year to review the student's progress and to develop the next year's IEP. The IEP can also be revised throughout the school year if necessary.
The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, is a landmark federal law in the United States that ensures students with disabilities are provided with a free, appropriate public education, or FAPE, that is tailored to their individual needs. First enacted in 1975 by President Gerald Rudolph Ford and originally called the Education for All Handicapped Children's Act, or EHA. The law was reauthorized and renamed the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act in 1990 by George Herbert Walker Bush, with several subsequent reauthorizations by his son, George Walker Bush, in 2009, and amendments to refine and expand its provisions. That was my bit of trivia for all of you for today.
Wow, that was an interesting bit of trivia.
Yeah, thank you.
The requirement for IEPs comes from the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, a federal law, like Philip stated, that ensures students with disabilities are provided with a free, appropriate public education that is tailored to each individual student's needs. The IDEA covers children from birth through 21 or until high school graduation, whichever comes first. An IEP is more than just an educational plan. It's a commitment from the school to provide the resources and supports necessary for a student with disabilities to achieve their educational goals. It plays a crucial role in ensuring that general and special education services are delivered in an effective, organized manner that meets federal and state guidelines. I am so thankful that Philip had an IEP and that all of his teachers and school psychologists helped him to the best of their ability, and that he was in smaller classes. Because in a class with 30 kids, he would have been overwhelmed, and his generalized anxiety disorder and OCD would have been off the charts.
Many parents are afraid to have their child labeled or stigmatized for having an IEP or being called special education. We covered the topic of stigma in our 4th episode. If you haven't seen it, check it out down below. If it weren't for my IEP, I would have had a very hard time in school and would not be where I am today. Sharing success stories and achievements of individuals who have received special education services can challenge stereotypes and highlight the potential for success. Public figures, professionals, and peers who speak openly about their experiences can serve as powerful role models. I want to be a role model for college students with a mental illness who succeeded.
And succeed you have.
Thank you.
Empowering students and families to advocate for their rights and needs can help shift the perceptions and promote a more positive view of special education. Encouraging self-advocacy in students helps them develop confidence and positive identity. A multidimensional strategy that includes activism, education, regulatory changes, and cultural shifts towards tolerance and respect for diversity is desperately needed to combat the stigma attached to special education. By emphasizing skills, cultivating welcoming environments, and dispelling myths, we may strive for a society in which every student is respected and assisted in realizing their full academic potential. I attended every meeting every year of Philip's primary, middle, and high school life, advocating for everything he received because I knew as his mom what a difference it made in his life. Now, when he applied for college, everything changed. With college, parents no longer are allowed to advocate for the child. The child, now an 18-year-old adult, must learn to advocate for themselves.
Have no fear, parents. I'm aware this is a scary scenario.
It was very scary.
From always advocating for your child's education to not being allowed to participate at all is difficult. There's something called a FERPA waiver, or the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. FERPA is a federal law enacted in 1974 that protects the privacy of student education records. Having your son or daughter log into their college or university platform and fill out a FERPA waiver will allow you to access transcripts, GPA, academic probation, or any disciplinary records, and all things that fall under financial aid. My mom was allowed to sit in on meetings and academic counseling as far as scheduling what classes to take, etc. Because I personally felt more reassured with my mom there. I was also enrolled in the TRIO program at my college. The federal TRIO program includes 8 programs targeted to serve and assist low-income individuals, first-generation college students, and individuals with disabilities to progress through the academic pipeline from middle school to post-baccalaureate programs. This allowed me, as a disabled student, to be eligible for certain grants to help pay for college, which was great. For my associate's degree, I graduated as a TRIO scholar and got special grants and scholarships to transfer to a 4-year college. I graduated from and will graduate as a TRIO scholar this coming May. I finished my bachelor's in behavioral sciences this past December and will be walking in my graduation this coming May.
And I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Philip also received funding for college from Access VR. Access VR stands for Adult Career and Continuing Education Services Vocational Rehabilitation in New York State. It's a program that's designed to assist individuals with disabilities in achieving and maintaining education and employment, and to support independent living through training, education, rehabilitation, and career development. It's part of the New York State Education Department and provides a wide range of services to people with physical, mental, or emotional disabilities. Now, in order to receive funding and for it to continue, there are certain criteria that needs to be met, including maintaining a really good GPA, maintaining full-time status, and applying for all other financial aid available first.
Now, many of you have asked me, how was college? Was it difficult? Well, I'll tell you. Due to my OCD, GAD, and now schizoaffective disorder, I was able to receive accommodations in college. To obtain accommodations, students typically need to register with the Disabilities Services Office. Students must register with the office of or department responsible for disability services at their college or university. This usually involves submitting documentation of their disability from a qualified professional or professionals. You must provide documentation that demonstrates the nature of the disability and how it affects the student's ability to participate in academic activities.
Requirements for documentation can vary by institution. Students often need to request specific accommodations based on their own needs. This may involve meeting with a disability services coordinator to discuss appropriate accommodations.
After accommodations are approved, students may need to communicate with professors or other college staff to implement their accommodations. Continuous follow-up may be necessary to ensure that accommodations are effectively meeting the student's needs. Some types of accommodations are extended time on exams, which allows students who need more time due to processing disorders, anxiety, or other disabilities to have extended time to complete tests and exams. Alternative exam formats, providing exam in different formats such as oral exams, multiple choice exams instead of essay exams, or vice versa. To accommodate various learning and physical disabilities, note-taking assistance, services such as note takers, recording lectures, or providing lecture notes to students who have difficulty taking notes.
Priority registration, which allows for students with disabilities to register for their classes early to ensure that they can schedule classes around their needs, secure accommodations, and avoid physical accessibility issues. And even assistive technology, which provides and allows for the use of technology such as speech-to-text software, screen readers, or other devices that can assist with learning.
Colleges and universities are required by law, such as the Americans with Disabilities Act in the United States, to provide reasonable accommodations to students with disabilities. The goal is to promote inclusivity and ensure that all students have the opportunity to succeed academically.
Which is really, really vital.
Yeah.
Well, that was a lot of excellent information, Philip.
It was, but I want everyone watching to know what's available to them and how to get these services. Accommodations in college are adjustments and modifications provided to students with disabilities to ensure equal access to education and educational opportunities.
These accommodations are designed to help level the playing field for students with disabilities, removing barriers that might prevent them from fully participating in academic activities or demonstrating their true abilities.
I want to stress to you guys that accommodations do not lower academic standards or alter the essential requirements of a course or program. Rather, they provide alternative ways for students to learn the material and demonstrate their knowledge.
We will leave information for the TRIO program, which is a federal program, and for the Access VR, which is available in New York State, in the description box below. In other states, there are vocational rehabilitation programs. The vocational rehabilitation system provides VR and other services to individuals with disabilities to maximize their employment, independence, and integration into the community, academic, college, and the labor market. You can just do a Google search in the state you reside in, and if you need help, please give us a shout in the comments. We'll be more than willing to help you.
We want to thank you guys for watching this episode of Navigating the Periphery. We hope it explained a lot of what's available to students who have mental illness, mental health disorders, not only in your primary education setting, but also in college. And if you guys have any questions at all regarding this episode, please ask. Let us know, and remember, it's okay not to feel or be okay all the time. You're not alone.
So please leave your comments and thoughts below, like Philip said, and thank you so much for watching Navigating the Periphery, where we are trying to stop the stigma of mental health, one show at a time. Please take care, have a great day, and we will see you in our next episode, which is coming really soon. Take care for now. Bye!
Bye!